Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to another edition of AMA Air. I'm Erin Dobbs. 2016 has come to a close, and a lot has happened over the past 12 months that's worthy of reflection. Well, we invited a couple of very special guests to our studio to talk to us about some of the amazing events from the past year. World Drone Champion Shaun Taylor will be talking with us later about his year in the world of FPV racing and about the community that has formed around it. But first, Chris Savage had the opportunity to talk with the new AMA president, Rich Hanson, about his history in modeling and where he sees the hobby going. Let's take a look.
Well, today in the studio, we have AMA President-elect Rich Hanson with us. Rich, welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Chris. Glad to be here.
Well, I am really excited to have the opportunity to introduce you to our membership as our President-elect. I wanted to start off with a little bit of your aviation background. So I understand you have a very extensive aviation background, both in modeling and full scale. That started as early as the 8th grade, as I understand, with the Civil Air Patrol.
Actually, maybe even a little bit before that.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of your background.
Well, sure. You know, I'm of the baby boomer generation, so my dad was a World War II B-17 pilot. So I was privileged and intrigued by a lot of the stories and history that he presented for us. My interest in model aviation really started out with gifts of plastic control line models. But once I learned that the more successful aircraft were actually balsa and tissue aircraft that you could build from scratch or from kits, that's really where I got into the true model aviation, and control line was really my discipline of choice for a lot of years, and that actually took me up to the 8th grade, where I started with the Civil Air Patrol.
It sounds like you, as well as anybody, understand the connection between youth and model aviation and the doors that can open up for them later in life, as well as the importance of youth as the foundation of our organization, as the future of our organization. What kinds of things in your mind can we do to connect with youth today to help open those doors for them and help them down a life path that connects them with AMA in the future?
Well, sure, and as you mentioned, I mean, I believe strongly that model aviation, model airplanes have always been a seed ground for careers in aviation, in a way of getting kids involved in aeronautics in a somewhat playful way to begin with, and into more serious, both organized competition as well as actual aeronautics and STEM education. And I think AMA has a long history of very successful and beneficial programs to help introduce kids into this hobby and into the aerospace industry. I think that AMA already has a great baseline of catalog of programs that reach out to our youth, and I think that with the expansive programs that we're now doing with our MASS program, the Model Aircraft Student Club program, and the programs that we're doing cooperatively with other entities like Civil Air Patrol, EAA with their Young Eagle program, just expands that even further.
I know that one of the projects you've worked on very hard in recent years is our government relations efforts. You've, of course, led our government relations efforts for the last how many years now?
Going on almost 9 years now.
Almost 9 years. How will your new position now as AMA President impact the work that you do on our behalf with our government relations team? We obviously are all very, very appreciative of all the hard work that you've put in there.
Well, I think it dovetails very, very well. I mean, although I'm not going to be in the position of AMA's Government and Regulatory Affairs representative, we have a very talented and capable individual in Chad Boudreau, who's taking over that position. Actually, we've been mentoring him into that position for the last 12 to 15 months. But I think all that does is just elevate my ability and my position within the organization to go out and work on issues side by side with other organizations like the Association for Unmanned Vehicle Systems International, AUVSI, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, AOPA, the Experimental Aircraft Association, and as president, I'll actually be able to work peer-to-peer with the leadership of those organizations in resolving some of these issues.
Well, so this might be a strange thing to think about this early in your term, before your term has even started officially. When you start to think about even towards the end of your term and you want to look back at the impact that you had here, what are some of the things that you want to view as your accomplishments during your time here?
Well, the one thing I think is vital is for the AMA to continue to move forward. Mm-hmm. We have to continue to be relevant. We have to continue to be viable. We need to look to the future so that we can secure this activity for our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandkids, so that generations to come will still have the opportunity to enjoy this hobby. And I think that would be the biggest goal and accomplishment I could achieve, is to make sure that AMA maintains that posture, and that 3 years from now, when this term is over, we can look forward and say, yes, AMA does have a future.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with our members today?
Well, I think the one thing I'd like to say is that I'm just very, very proud and honored to have been elected to this position. And I want to thank those people that have entrusted me with this position. And I pledge to do my very best to do the best job I can.
Well, Rich, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Congratulations again. We're very excited to have you, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
The popularity of FPV drone racing has skyrocketed during 2016, and few names are synonymous with the sport like Shaun Taylor, or as some of you might know him, Nytfury. We wanted to talk with Shaun about his experiences this year, and we were lucky enough to have him call into the studio and do just that.
Today, we have Shaun Nytfury Taylor joining us from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Welcome, Shaun. How are you this morning?
Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing?
We are doing great. We're so excited to have you on the show with us today.
Awesome. Hopefully I won't ruin it too bad.
Well, Shaun, it has been a huge year for you. You won the Multi-GP Championship here at AMA headquarters this year, and also won the Drone World Championships, I understand. How have things changed for you over the last year with some of these great successes?
Nothing's really changed as far as the way that I do things with FPV racing. I did have to leave my job as a firefighter. Very sadly, I wasn't able to do both and do 100% at both jobs. And everyone deserves more than that. The public deserves more from the fire department side. I deserve more to give it 100% in something instead of splitting all of my efforts. And the community deserves 100%, whether it's for me to just be a competitor or just to push the sport forward. It's just something that I had to do.
So how did you get into FPV quad racing? Did you have a modeling background before this, or was this brand new for you?
No, this is totally brand new for me. My buddy Shaun Stanford owns a race shop here in town, building like drag cars and stuff. And he's always been kind of into racing, whether hobby related or real cars and real trucks and stuff. And I've always kind of followed him around because he always has all the really cool toys. And he linked me the YouTube video of the guys over in France, and he was really excited. But I got on RC groups and got the cheapest little ZMR 250 that I could find, and it was terrible. And I flew it just as good as I thought I would. I was so bad, so bad. And he just loved harassing me, telling me how I'm never going to beat him. But he brought out this obsessive compulsive side of me that I didn't even know that I had. And I had to do better. From there it just went in this spiral of events and practice and wanting to beat myself yesterday and wanting to perfect this move and this maneuver. And yeah, it's just turned into a huge part of my life now.
Well, building on that, and as you got into competition with him and in competition with yourself, I understand that you competed, of course, here in the Multi-GP Championship at AMA headquarters over the summer and won that event. Talk to us a little bit about that event. What were your impressions? How did it go?
That event is my all-time favorite. The year before, in Florida, Chris Thomas hosted the first multi-GP championship, and I had just come off the very first win of my life, which was at XDC 1 in Las Vegas, and that championship was huge because I won that championship, and it was like I didn't know what was going on because I hadn't won anything, and then now I've won 2 back-to-back events, and it was totally new to me. Well, this event in Muncie was that first event times 1,000. So when I get there, there's a ton of people, and you can see everybody just, there at the headquarters getting all their gear checked and signing in, and you could smell the adrenaline. Everybody's nervous, they're happy to see each other, but everybody's freaking out. And I am too, but I'm kind of playing it cool and smiling and acting like, no big deal. And I'm driving up and I see this track and I see these gates, and there's fog, so it literally looks like it's going up into the sky. And I remember looking at that, and then I see myself in the rear view, and I'm like, what the heck did you get yourself into? My very first battery on that course was just so awesome. Like going up that sky bridge for the first time was amazing. And then making it down and going into the sweeper, like actually completing that. I remember everyone was having such a great time. Everyone who was there just had it was the right atmosphere. Everybody had the right attitude. It didn't matter if you won or lost, like everybody was equally having an amazing time. And that was just the best event, literally by far, that I had ever attended.
Shaun, aside from some of those personal experiences and things that you've learned about yourself, you mentioned, of course, that all of those pilots are there to win. Have you found still that community, while it's obviously intensely competitive, have you still found them to be supportive? And can you talk about some of the things that you've learned from some of the other people that you've raced with?
Absolutely. I don't know how it is in other RC hobbies. I know in other sports that there's not really a brotherhood so much. There's not really so much camaraderie. It really is competitor, and that maybe because it's gotten more serious, more money involved. But even now, still, guys will run to give you something that you need at any of these events. That they'll fight over trying to get you on the line so you can get into the next race. And I think that's beautiful, beautiful part of the sport. Unfortunately, with more money, you are going to see more bad blood developing, and it's just, the money is a necessary evil. It's a double-edged sword. We just got to, try to be graceful and kind of move forward with it the right way. I would say just about most people will completely open arms teach you any knowledge that they have, any mistakes that they've learned from, and better ways to do something. Yeah, they absolutely will. They want to help. They want to see you succeed in the end. Even though you're a competitor, they want to see you succeed.
Well, Shaun, I can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your very, very busy schedule to spend some time with us and our viewers today. Thanks so much. The best of luck to you in the future in your racing.
If you'd like to see the full unedited interviews with either Rich Hanson or Shaun Taylor, head over to air.modelaircraft.org and check those out. You can also read more about Shaun in the winter 2017 issue of Park Pilot magazine. They'll be arriving in your mailboxes later this month. That's all we have time for today for AMA Air. Thank you so much for joining us again. If you have a story you'd like to see on the show, head over to air.modelaircraft.org and send us an airmail to let us know about it. And if you're not already a member of AMA, visit modelaircraft.org and join today. Also, don't forget, AMA Expo West will be January 6th through the 8th at the Ontario Convention Center in Ontario, California. So you West Coasters, we'll see you there. Have a great new year.